Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to continue graphing inequalities. You're real good at one, so now we're going to do more than one. And that's what a system of inequalities is. It's just basically more than one. In this case, line. You could really, you could graph anything, but we're only graphing lines today. So you have an equation, which just is a line, and then you have an inequality, which includes the shaded area. So we just did this yesterday, but you use a solid line when you have a line under it, so greater than, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to. You use the dashed line if there's no line under it, just less than, or just plain greater than. Vertical line, we did one yesterday. This is x equals a number. That means your line goes up and down. A horizontal line means y equals a number. Now I'm using equals, but it could be greater than or less than. Now a constraint is values that don't make sense. Now this is going to really only apply to a story problem where you have dealing with money or time, and a lot of those things cannot be negative. So that's what I mean by a constraint. So let's real quick go back over where we were yesterday, just graphing a single line. Your y-intercept is the plane number. So you're going to go to on the y-axis, you're going to go to the 5. And then we have our slope. Slope is negative 2/3. The x is not part of the slope, so we go down 2 to the right 3. And you count from the point that you have on your graph. Now there is a line underneath there, so this will be a solid line. And then of course it is greater than, so we would shade above the line. And number one point is you can't graph it until it's solved for y. So here we'll subtract 2x. So negative 4y is less than 8 minus 2x. And when you divide by something negative, you must flip the inequality over. So this guy's got to flip over. So now we get y is greater than, so we do 8 divided by negative 4, it's negative 2. And then you have to reduce your fraction, negative 1/2. You can put the x on the top. And now we're ready to graph the line. So you start on the y-axis, so we're going to start down 2. And then we have a slope of negative 1/2, which means down 1 over 2, down 1 over 2. Do that as many times as you need to. Sorry, our slope is positive 1/2 if you're paying attention to the signs, because they were both negative. So we're going to go up 1 to the right 2. Got to pay attention to that. So we'll go up 1 to the right 2 as many times as you need to draw a good line. Dotted, because there's no line under the symbol, and it is, we read the symbol when we're all done here, it is greater than, so we want to be above the line. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do more than one. And you can see all the way down there, part D, we're going to do up to 4. So more than one could be 2 or 3 or 4. Most of the time it's just 2. So we need a kind of a good strategy to come up with for the shading. So let me show you some things that work out pretty good. Let's graph the first line. I'm going to graph this first line in red so you can see it. So we're going to start up 3, and then our slope, of course, is 2/3, up 2 over 3. Line under it, so this is solid. Now be careful when you don't go crazy on shading this first line, because we're interested in the area of overlap. So I'm just going to very deliberately just sort of remind myself that it's greater than. I can very easily make that darker if I had to. You're more than welcome to use more than one color. If you want to do it that way, highlighters work good. Or if you just have a pencil or a single pen, then this will work as well. So we have the next line, which I'm going to do in blue. So we're going to start down 3. And then, of course, our slope is negative 4/3. So we're going to go down 4 to the right 3. Now, we run off the grid. And I know a lot of you don't like that. So if you don't want to go off the grid, then you have to go, because it would be down 4 over 3. So it would be this way. So we'd have to go up 4 over 3. Either way, you've got to make it fit on the grid. A lot of times the grids aren't big enough. It's just the way it's going to be. No line under the symbol, so this is dotted. And now it's greater than. So basically it's above the line here. So we are interested in the area that has the red and the blue parts, and only that area. So the answer is right here. That's it. The rest of it is not the answer. It's okay if you have parts that are shaded, that are sticking out. Just make the darkest part your answer. And then we finally get into what's really like. Well, you have to solve for y. You don't really have a choice. Can't really graph some of this stuff without solving for y, and you can't put it into the calculator either. So we're going to subtract that 3x. So I'm going to put this over here. 2y is greater than or equal to 2 minus 3x. And then divide all the pieces by 2. It's very important that you simplify. So 2 divided by 2 is 1, and then we have a negative 3x over 2. So I'm going to use the same color here just to show you that it is possible to do this with one color. Start up 1, and then from there we go down 3 to the right 2. Then we're going to connect these dots with a solid line. This is greater than. Greater than is above the line. Again, don't go crazy. Just draw some lines there so you know where you're talking about. And then we'll do the other line to solve for y. So x plus 2y is less than or equal to 2. So we'll subtract the x. So we get 2y is less than or equal to 2 minus x. And then we'll divide everything by 2. So y is less than or equal to 1 minus 1x over 2. I feel like I have a sign mistake somewhere, do I? Oh, that was a negative 2 on this problem. I didn't even see it. Look, I wrote down a positive 2. So this should be a negative 1. You probably knew that, and I'm just going for it. And I can't erase. I don't think. Let me see if I can erase. Nope. Cannot erase this. So let's go over here. Sorry. So I'm going to regraph this. So I'm going to have negative 1, so we go down 1, and then from there we go down 3 to the right 2. And this is a solid line, so it's really close to what I had. It's just down 1 and greater than. Now I'm going to graph this line. So now I'm going to start up 1, and then from there I'm going to go down 1 to the right 2. This is also a solid line. They do intersect, but it's way over here. My lines are not straight. And this is less than. So we want to be below that line, but above this line. So our less than part is right here. So the part that overlaps is the part in between the two lines, all the way up to where they meet. So it's kind of a weird little sliver there. All right, let's see if I can't do this next one better. So for part C, this line right here, y is greater than negative 2. Oops. This is your y-axis. Go down to 2. Dotted line where all the y's equal negative 2, and y is greater than negative 2 up here. So now we have negative 4x minus y is less than negative 2. So we'll add the 4x. Which, of course, you can't really add. So we get negative y less than 2 plus negative 2. There I go again with my sign. Plus 4x. Now we're going to divide everything by a negative 1. Because you don't want a negative y. You want a positive y. So we divide by a negative. So this gets flipped over. Negative divided by a negative is a 2. And then this will be a minus 4x. Now I'm going to put that over 1 because I like my slope over a 1. So we're going to go up 2. Then from there, down 4, right 1. Dotted line. And we want greater than. So think about, well, where do the numbers get bigger? They get bigger up here. So I'm going to shade this going the other way. I don't know if you can tell, because I'm just nothing but black lines, no colors, which is possibly what's happening to you. But you can see that over here, the lines are just going straight up. Right in through here, the lines are going up and down and left and right. You have to stay neat and organized, otherwise you're not going to know where your answer is. This is the answer. It goes all the way down to -2, and then the one side is the diagonal line. Now we're going to get to part D. All these lines. So x is less than -4. So here's your x-axis. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's greater than, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4. All the x's are 4 here. This is a solid line. All the numbers bigger than -4 go this way. Now we got a lot of lines, so you got to start kind of super light. +5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So here's where x equals 5. Dotted line. So right now, we're just in between those two lines. Let's graph this line right here. We're going to start down 5. And then from there, we're going to go up 3 and over 5. This one is a solid line. And so basically what we've done, so now we're in through here, we've just sort of cut off this part. So this part is a no. That's a bad idea to add more lines to this. So let me get rid of, oh my gosh. I don't know which one is the eraser. I can't get rid of it. Okay, sweet. So let me do this last line, which means we have to solve for x. I'm going to come over here. 4x plus 3y is less than 12. So subtract the 4x, which of course you cannot do. 3y is less than 12 minus 4x, and we'll divide everything by 3. So y is less than 4 minus 4x over 3. So we're going to start up 4. And then from there we're going to go down 4 over 3. And this is a dotted line. And we want to be less than or below. So we're below, but above and inside. So this line over here, this dotted line, almost doesn't even have a part of our answer because of the way the lines intersect. If you kept this going off of the graph, it would make a triangle. Not that you need to do that, but it's a triangle if you go off the graph. Ever popular story problems. So the story problems aren't going to be any different than they were before yesterday. So same idea. They don't get harder. That's it. So we have a gift certificate for $25 to a movie theater. Matinees are $4.50 and evenings shows are $7.50. Write and graph an inequality that represents the number of matinees and evening shows that you can attend. Okay, well here's some things that we know. We're going to have to make x and y. So I'm going to make x the matinees. And I'm going to make y the evenings. And because we can't have negative tickets, negative money, none of that can be negative, we know that x is greater than or equal to 0. We know that y is greater than or equal to 0, which is why you can see these solid lines and we have just the positives for x and y's. So we have only the first quadrant. This is the matinee. So this is how many matinees we can watch, and this is how many evening movies we can go to. I don't know the scale, but we'll wait to figure that out in a minute. So I have $4.50 for matinees, which I'm calling x. And I have added to that $7.50 for the evening shows, and I only have $25. 25 is the maximum, so 25 is where the opening goes, and I can spend 25, but I can't spend more than that. So we're going to solve this thing for y. So we get 7.5y is less than or equal to 25 minus 4.5x, and then divide everything by 7.5. So I'm going to come over here. Y is less than or equal to, this is not nice. This is 3.3 repeating. When you put that in the calculator, and you want your slope as a fraction. Now, if you want to count the squares, you have to keep your scales the same. You can't count by 2 on one and then 3 on, you can't do that. So if you want to use the down 3 over 5, you have to keep the scale the same on both. So I'm going to, these are super small numbers, so you can go big. I'm going to count by 1/2. So 1 square is 1/2, and then the second square is 1. Skip 1, there's a 2. Skip 1, there's a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do the same thing going up. Skip 1, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many, probably not that many. So the y-intercept is 3.3. So a little bit more than 3, which is a guess. And then from there, we're going to count down 3 to the right 5. But it's not exactly on the grid. So you count down 3, 1, 2, 3. So it's just barely above the x-axis and then over 5. So we're going to be right above that matinee kind of axis. There's our line. And this says less than. So these are all of the things. These are the possible combinations that we have. Give one possible combination of matinees and evening. Now again, up to you. I would pick a number right in the middle, like this one, 2, 2. Or you could pick 3, 1. You could pick a number right on the line, but it's hard to read the line, so be careful with living on the edge of that line, like 1, 3, definitely inside there, but 1, 4 is not. So any of those would work, so I'm going to go with 2 matinees and 2 evenings. And for the last one, we're going to go backwards. From the graph to the equation. So I'm going to start with this solid line right here. So we have y, m, x plus b. So it always starts with y. I always would do the b next, so our b is right there. So it looks like it's a 3, and that's up 3. Now your slope, you have to go up or down first, and we have to find another point. Probably shouldn't have written all over that. We have to find another point that's right on the line. On the grid. That one isn't. That one isn't. Looks like this one is right here. So how do we get from here to here? We go up 2 over 3. So we went up 2 over 3. Now you can also tell that it's shaded this way. Because if it was shaded below, then there would be lines over here. And there isn't. So, because there's no lines over there, then it has to be shaded up. Up is greater than, and it's a solid line, so there's a line under it. Now let's do the dotted line. The dotted line has a y-interceptor right there, so we know we have a -1. The next point right on the grid looks like right here. So we went down, so that's a negative. 1, 2, 3, 4 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then that gets your slope. Now you can tell that this is also kind of shaded above the line. That's how we get there. So this would be greater than. I actually think I can't really see the shaded area too good. I think because my shaded area doesn't look so good. Maybe your shaded area looks better. I think the answer is really not what I have. I think this is the shaded area, which means I thought it was all of this. So sorry, it's only this much because I can't tell. Picture's terrible. So that means this one is less than, right? Because here's your line and we want to go below the line. So this one should be a less than. And again, that's just an issue with the picture. Sorry about that. If you have to do this again, I will definitely pay more attention to making sure that copies look good.